We are here for issue number 3. I am excited. A lot of people didn't think we would make it to this point, but here we are, 3 issues in, and we're going to most likely have a 4th so long as we don't get canceled.
Did you think we would make it this long?
Yes, actually I did. I can
see
a
little more faith than me.
I can see us actually getting a little bit farther down the road before somebody tries to pull the plug on this. But this is all about you, ladies and gentlemen, our fans of Comic Book 101. If you have ever wanted to get into comic books, this is the show for you, because we are going to break down everything in the world of comics here this week. And, of course, it's like a comic book shop has come to your home. Now, Michael, I got to ask you, how's your week been since the last time I seen you?
It's been a great week. Went to an awesome comic shop this past weekend.
Yeah, I think we both went to that comic shop, as a matter of fact.
Bought a bunch of comics, got talked into buying something I probably shouldn't have bought.
We'll get to that in a little bit of weekly purchases, you know.
It's been a good week.
Yeah, me, myself, I hosted IPW Violent Things. That was an amazing show, filled with a bunch of excitement and surprises. It was over at the Gulfview Event Center. It was fun, you know, like anytime I'm hosting, the Princess of Weird is always doing his thing, you know?
We went bowling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, John from Nerd Talk, we all went bowling and came in 2nd place one time and 3rd place the other games.
Nice.
I'm not a good bowler. Played pool, I beat John the first game, then I won't discuss the rest of my games.
Well, let us actually discuss our housekeeping of the week and where we actually spent some of our weekend. We actually went to Yancey Street Comics right down at the Gulfview Mall. It was an amazing time. We bought a lot of comic books. We saw a lot of different things, a lot of figures. And I believe they have an event coming up on February the 12th that you wanted to talk about.
So February 12th, Yancey Street Comics, Jimmy Palmiotti is going to be there, and his wife Amanda Connor. Both of them are famous for doing Harley Quinn. Husband and wife couple, and Paul Mounts. They're all going to be there for the Birds of Prey release.
Yep, the brand
new. We got a new comic coming out this week, or actually it's the week right before that, I believe. The movie's coming out that same weekend.
Yep, and the book is obviously made to tie into the movie. We will see this a lot with comic books. As a movie is coming out into theaters, you will start seeing comics based off of those characters pop up in plethora. Like if you go to your local shop right now, like we went to Yancey Street, you can actually find Morbius comics, brand new Morbius comics in the works and already out there. So that's definitely worth checking out if you want to know more about Morbius.
And the Saturday before February 12th, they're going to have Chuck Dixon in there.
Oh, nice.
He was on Birds of Prey originally, did the original comics for it, and everybody knows Chuck Dixon. He created Bane, so it'll be a good time going up there meeting him.
Yep.
So I'll definitely be out there. Hopefully you'll be out there.
I'm going to try my best. I know I want to at least hit up this Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey one, because I think that'll be a lot of fun. I love me some Harley Quinn. I've got my diamonds tattooed on me, so
hopefully we can bring the cameras, a camera or something, do some interviews while we're up there, get some good footage.
We'll definitely have to see as that rolls around on February the 12th. It is a Wednesday. It is from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. You're going to want to be there. There's going to be a ton of comics
there.
Yeah, there's going to be a ton of comic books there. You can get this brand new Birds of Prey autographed by the illustrators. It's going to be a great time.
Yeah, it's going to be a good event.
But speaking more about comic book creators, in our housekeeping this week, I have to address this one. Last week, my idiot self decided to state that Spider-Man was actually created by Stanley and Jack Kirby, which is not true. Jack Kirby actually helped Stan create like everything else under the sun, the Avengers, Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, but it was actually Steve Ditko who helped Stan Lee create Spider-Man, and there you see him drawing Amazing Fantasies. It was my mistake, guys. It tends to happen. This is why we have the housekeeping area in this show. That way we can correct some of our wrongs from the past. And of course, Stan Lee, Steve Ditko have gone way back. They have built a legacy with Spider-Man, and to this day, when Stan was alive, he made sure he said that he was a co-creator, and Steve Ditko and Jack Kirby, for other ones, were always his co-conspirators and creators on any of these comics. So, yeah, my bad, yo. Sometimes you can't remember everything, you know, because a lot of the stuff, even though we have these wonderful notes and stuff like that, they don't always cover everything. They're just more of a blueprint outline. But this is why we like to interact with you. A couple fans had pointed this out to us, so this is me making an amends. So Steve Ditko created Spider-Man. Also, I had stated that Dexter, the Marvel comic series, was originally an HBO or a Showtime show. I couldn't really remember. It's actually a Showtime show, which I should have remembered. I watched it on Hulu, so in our Netflix. So that's what I did. But Dexter has 2 different versions of comics out there. He has his first series, which is a 5-issue miniseries, and then you have Dexter Down Under, which is also a 5-issue miniseries. Both of these created by Marvel Comics, and they came out around 2013 for the first series and 2014 for the second series. So you can actually go out to your local comic book shop, and they might actually have still some of these back issues, or you can try to order the graphic novel trade paperback from your local shop, from a Books A Million, Amazon, wherever you like to go and buy some comic books.
I'm going to have to check that out.
Yeah, it's
like and see if they can get them.
Yeah, definitely. I'm a big Dexter fan.
The show was great. I loved it.
Oh,
I wish they would bring it back again.
Because a little bit.
It's horrible. They need to do a better ending.
Yeah, maybe. I could kind of agree with you on that one. Of course, they have the book series as well, and one of our Nerd Talk co-hosts,
where does the books fall into the show?
It actually takes place somewhere during the show.
Okay.
Yeah, because Dexter's life on the show, it spans 8 seasons, which is a bunch of years, because time is irrelevant in TV. So somewhere in that time period is when the books take place. Definitely a good read. I actually gave away my copy of Dexter Down Under #1 this weekend.
Really?
Yeah, I'm the type of
What
person.
lucky person got it?
My good homeboy Simon Says, my mentor in professional wrestling.
That name's very familiar.
He's a huge Dexter fan, and I had to hook him up with that comic book. It only seemed right that he had it as opposed to me. So there you go. There is our good housekeeping of the week. Some good housekeeping. I believe we're all straight and tidied up now. We can move on to Cosplayer of the Week.
Yes. So
this week, it is actually Michael's turn.
Yes, so I picked, out of all the wonderful submissions we had, there were quite a few. Please keep submitting no matter what. Even if you don't get picked this week, doesn't mean you won't get the following week.
We'll definitely be making a post about that.
Yes. The first one, her Instagram, she goes by Feng Shi. I hope I pronounced it right. I apologize if I didn't. But here's some amazing photos of her. What got her into cosplay, she loved anime for many years. When she relocated to Florida, she didn't have any friends down here, and she was going through social media, and she found MegaCon. So she went to MegaCon and loved all the cosplays and wanted to go ahead and try doing that. Her favorite cosplay so far is right there, actually, Deku from My Hero Academia, Boku no Hero Academy.
My Hero Academia nuts?
Yeah, no. She said she loves that one because the growth of the character and his overall selflessness in the anime is why she loves that character. In the future, she wants to start making armor and doing a character from WoW, which is awesome. I approve of that because World of Warcraft, right there.
Well, not only are you our cosplayer of the week, but you need to send us your address because you get a special care package courtesy of Comic Book 101 because we like to hook up our fans, especially if we're picking you for cosplayer of the week. We will also have some other contests where you might be able to win some of the comics that are on this table here today.
And the last question I had, what do you enjoy about cosplaying? How strong the community, how friendly they are and supportive at conventions and everything, and all the friendships she has made throughout the years doing cosplay. And that's actually how I met her at one time. I did a photo shoot for her $2 one day.
And I believe we talked about them last week.
So it was really amazing seeing all her cosplays. And she's only been doing it a year now. So seeing how she's improved that short of time is amazing.
Definitely. And once again, if you want to check her out, you can do so on Instagram. She has amazing photos of all of her cosplays up there, as well as her family and friends probably. And yeah, please go check her out. She is our cosplayer of the week. All right. So I guess the only thing to do now is talk about what did you get this week, Michael?
What did I get? So I'm going to start with the first one because it was a big issue. It's a milestone for comics, actually. Wonder Woman 750.
And they did multiple covers of this.
The cover I actually have, I have it with me here. And this is just awesome. George Perez did this cover.
Now, the one I want to see is
which is right there. And there's multiple covers by some amazing artists throughout the years.
Exactly. And once again, there are a ton of them. You can go out to your local comic book shop right now. We went to Yancey Street Comics. You can go to whatever comic book shop is closest to you and pick up this amazing Wonder Woman 750. One of the amazing covers, because there's like 7 of them, I want to say.
Yeah, there's almost a dozen, I think. There's quite a few. Because I found ones that weren't even at the shop yet.
Oh, nice.
They've sold out.
Yeah, and that's just to go to show you all of the amazingness that went into Wonder Woman over the past few decades. Yeah. She's been around for a really long time. And
that's what the comic
750
is about. It shows you different stories from throughout the whole time period. So reaching 750 is awesome.
Oh, yeah.
For another 750 to go.
Maybe a 750 Batman soon, if we haven't already passed that mark.
I'm not sure where we're at on Batman.
Probably way past it, because if you count everything that involves some of these characters, between, if we're just counting Batman here, Detective Comics, Batman, Gotham City, Joker, whatever other comics you want to throw out there, they definitely have a poop ton of them.
Yeah.
Now, this is something I wanted to actually bring up when we talk about comic books of the week. Michael likes to base his comic books off of what he is buying in the stores this week. I base my comics off of actually what I am reading this week. I don't just buy comic books just to buy comic books. If I'm going to get a book, I'm going to read it because I read whether they're physical copies like the ones on the table here, whether it's a digital copy that you can find through some scrupulous sites or Marvel Unlimited or the DC app. Ton of ways you can read comic books. The first book I actually read this week was something we had talked about a little bit last week, and I had to go out, I had to find it. It was in my collection, and that is the 2019 Descendants free comic book day comic. It was made by Tokyo Pop, and it's Dizzy's New Fortune. This actually is a prequel to the Descendants 3 movie.
Okay.
So I was extremely happy to pick up this one. You can find it on eBay for a relatively cheap price. I think it was around like under $5, if I could remember correctly. But that was the first book I actually read this week. So what else did you happen to grab?
The next one I actually want to show because this one's actually pretty cool. It's Absolute Carnage Immortal Hulk #1, and it's actually signed by Kyle Holtz. So that's the reason I picked that one up, because they did autograph signing at Yancey Street, and they had extra copies sitting around. So I went ahead and got this wonderful copy right there.
And there you can see the autograph right there. He's not going to point it out, but if you point it a little bit toward the camera, you can see that gold right there of the signature, and they're still $10. They had like 5 copies left, I believe, over at Yancey Street when we were there. So if you wanted to pick up an autographed copy of this, there's a perfect way to do it.
Yeah, I got that one just for my personal collection. I probably won't open it and read it. I'll probably find another one just to read, but I want to put that one up and get graded and everything.
Nice. The next book I happened to read came out this week, and I was really excited for this one as soon as I heard it. It's Ghostbusters Year One. This was an amazing read. Most of the book follows Winston Zeddemore as he joins the Ghostbusters and ties in a lot of the first movie into the book here. And one of the more amazing things to me, it looks like the bad guy in the comic book, when we get to the final conclusion point of it, it looks like Edgar Allan Poe is going to be the big bad guy that the Ghostbusters have to inevitably bust. There's dealings with the Telltale Heart in there. So many great things. If you're a Ghostbusters fan, even if you're not, if you want to check out something new, Ghostbusters Year One is where it's at.
And it's a good time to revive the comics since the movie's coming out this year.
Oh, even then, this is what a lot of people don't realize. There have been Ghostbuster comic books for years. Even though the TV shows and the movies have been swindled down, there are still tons of Ghostbusters coming out from IDW Publishing. And then, of course, they even did Ghostbusters Answer the Call, the female Ghostbusters. They made comics for them. They also made a crossover comic which featured all of the different continuities of Ghostbusters coming in together in a multiverse kind of way. So Ghostbusters comics have been out there for quite some time, Michael.
So my next comic is a group of, they used to be misfits. They came together and formed Guardians of the Galaxy.
And it's not the Guardians of the Galaxy most people are familiar with,
not
the movie versions of it. This is actually a little bit different.
The great empire is in turmoil. The rule of the law is dead. And with all the chaos, the gods of Olympus have returned. So it's a new story and everything. And so far, it's been really good. And
it's on issue #1. They're just rebranding the Guardians of the Galaxy with a brand new team and lineup that you can go to your local comic book store once again and pick up issue #1. You can jump right into it right there off of this first issue, and there's no telling where it might go from here with the story.
Can we get Pet Raccoon and put him in a suit up here?
I wish we could get a Rocket Raccoon and put him in a suit here. We would be doing so much business because people would just be tuning in for the raccoon.
I would.
I know, I would. I already
pay
tuned in.
attention. Show I'd be petting a raccoon the whole time.
Look. Keep it in your pants. All right. My next comic book that I happened to read this week was one that also came out this week, and I was very much taken back by the name of it and what was going on in it. It was actually Web of Venom, The Good Son #1. It is the first issue of a brand new Venom series that doesn't feature Venom. It actually features his son. I believe his name is Dylan. I could be getting that wrong. I might be a part of housekeeping next week. But it also follows the Green Goblin's grandson and Harry Osborn's son. And it was a really good read. This takes place after the Absolute Carnage storyline that just took place. It was really interesting. It made me want to read more into the Web of Venom storyline because I could tell from just this one issue that it tied in through most of Absolute Carnage, even though there were like little single shots or like little story arcs. Definitely all tied in with that, and it was really good. In this new one, The Web of Venom, The Good Son, takes the reader into where they're going to head with Eddie Brock's son and Harry Osborn's son, because they're now living together. Venom's off going to do his thing to deal with Null, the ancient symbiote god, but his son can actually hear his voice and can control symbiotes. So it really takes...
He's not a symbiote, but he can control him.
Exactly. Eddie tries to keep the two separated from any other symbiotes, but he actually has a small vial of the Red Goblin symbiote. As we all know, the Goblin wound up getting a symbiote recently in the Absolute Carnage storyline, and it was very deadly, very vicious, and that's what he's carrying around in a little vial, trying to control it and learn his powers and what he is to this world. Very interesting book. Like I said, I highly recommend this one if you're trying to get into some newer comic books, newer stories. The Web of Venom, The Good Son, was definitely up there.
My last comic, so is a random one. I'm a huge Kevin Smith fan.
Me too.
I love all the movies. I've met Kevin Smith. I've met Walt Flanagan multiple times.
He also met Walt Flanagan's dog, but that was a whole nother meeting.
Yeah, that was while I was up in New York. We won't talk about that trip. But no, I love Kevin Smith. I love everything Kevin Smith has done. Even Daredevil, when he did that, I didn't mind that.
But this is where I get to kind of chuckle and laugh because I got to play a little me advocate.
To buy a certain comic or a whole series of comics, actually.
Or two series of comics.
As soon as that.
He wanted to go into this store and like, oh, I'm just going to get another 750 version of Wonder Woman. I was like, no way. We saw these books and I basically played a little advocate here and me advocate.
He's like, if you don't get it, I'm going to come back and get it. And they only have one set of these.
Yeah, and you picked up both versions of these.
Yeah, I picked up
the Widening
both,
Gyre and Cacophony.
I haven't had a chance to read these yet.
Yeah, no, because you haven't even had a chance to read any of your other books. Because unlike me, I read my comics each week. He just picks them up for his big, giant, massive collection he has out there. So, yeah, there were some amazing books. In actually the Widening Gyre, I've actually read parts of this book. This is the first time in any continuity of Batman that I've ever seen where Poison Ivy uses a little-known substance of THC to affect Batman and his detective skills, something you normally don't see in Batman comics or Batman cartoons or even movies. So
it's my goal this week to actually sit and read this series because I actually have nothing planned this weekend. So I actually have time to sit and relax for a change and read stuff.
Nice. Now, for me, I actually wanted to start a new segment on this show that I'm going to do from here to there, and it's called Josh's $5 Comics. So I wound up taking $5 out of my wallet, literally just $5 good old Lincoln, went up to Yancey Street Comics, went to the dollar bin, and found a ton of comic books that were all decently priced. They were all around $1 or under.
Which is funny you say that because Friday I went to Yancey Street before before Nerd Talk, and I was asking a guy what's something good to talk about. I mentioned a show. He's like, oh, I had a guy in here yesterday that does a show. I'm like, really? Was he loud and hyper? He's like, he wasn't too loud. I'm like, did he look like this? He's like, yeah. I go, yeah, that's the other host.
See, the dead giveaway is you should have just asked, is he a princess? Because everybody knows I'm a princess.
I don't think he knew you were a princess yet.
Everybody knows I'm a princess. It's in the title. I wear the warning sign.
But he did tell me, yeah, he was buying some dollar comics for the show.
And this is exactly what I was doing for. So first and foremost, I picked up these three because we were talking about Green Lantern, and I could not could not let these go without picking them up. We've got Green Lantern, Brightest Day, the new Guardians. There it is. I picked this up for $1. This is brand new, relatively new. It came out in June 10, so that I'm assuming that's 2010. Not too far along ago. Then I also picked up from the New 52, #1 of the Green Lantern Corps. So they did the big New 52 not too long ago. #1 was sitting in the dollar bin. Then, we'll get to this a little bit later, but I love Green Lantern, as we see, but I also love the Orange Lantern, Larfleeze, and I had to pick up this issue just because they got some new recruits for them. Larfleeze is an amazing character in the Green Lantern mythos, so I had to pick this up. So that's 3 comics right there. Then, let me move this over. I got a Betty and Veronica. It was absolutely free, didn't have to pay anything for it. I don't even read Betty and Veronica or Archie, but I picked it up because, hey, it's a brand new book, and I added it to my collection. Then, Year of the Villain. This came out around Free Comic Book Day last year. This was only 25 cents. That's right, 25 cents for a brand new full-length comic book, and even has the Batman Who Laughs in it, who I absolutely love. Then, if that wasn't enough, once again, I only spent $5. I got Bob's Burgers from Free Comic Book Day. This is an amazing story. If you are a fan of Bob's Burgers, they have tons of them out there. Like, I don't know about you, but me and my wife love watching the show, so now we get to add a little bit more to the reading of it. And then the one that I actually read this week, because I saw this and I could not pass it up. They had a few other ones of the Mortal Kombat series, but this is from way back in the day, all the way around 1993. So this came out shortly after Mortal Kombat 1, slightly before Mortal Kombat 2, and dealt, Goro, the Prince of Pain, which I happened to read all 3 versions of this comic book over the week, because as soon as I saw this cover and saw that they made these books, I had to read it. And it was an amazing story, Michael. An ancient being of chaos decides to use Goro to basically usher in an apocalypse in a way. And when Goro refuses to join him, he takes the DNA and the characteristics of every Mortal Kombat fighter from the original game and combines them to make the Combatant, a 4-armed creature like Goro, has his similar strengths, but has the power of Liu Kang, Raiden, Scorpion, Sub-Zero, the ultimate fighter essentially. And in the end, the God of Order gave Goro a giant gun to kill the thing. And then Goro realizes the only way to defeat this Chaos God is literally by not fighting. A book about Mortal Kombat that ends with a non-violent solution of, I'm just going to walk away here. I'm done. That'll feed you more. I'm out. So that was really good. I love that book. I highly recommend going to your local comic book shop. Guaranteed they have a dollar bin, and guaranteed for like less than $5, you might be able to find some amazing comic books from not just now, but all the way dating back to who knows when.
So you mentioned a couple of those were from Free Comic Book Day, which this year, again, it is on Saturday, May 2nd.
It's always the first Saturday in May. You will hear us talk about it as we get closer to it. Free Comic Book Day is one of my favorite events of the year. I bring my wife, I bring my kids. I used to hit up a few shops.
Yeah,
but there might be some,
3 different shops, because I was after one certain comic, and I was traveling to different shops to get it because I wanted the My Hero Academia comic. And Yancey Street was out by the time I got there. Went to another place, Emerald City, they were out. Then I found a small little shop in Tampa, a little hole in the wall, and they had them. I'm like, mine. Thank you.
Nice. Yeah, for me, most likely the one comic I wanted was this Descendants comic, which I forgot I even owned because I have so many books and I always grab so many books come Free Comic Book Day. And I literally sat there with my wife trying to figure out what books I had, what books I didn't have. And yeah, I had it. And it was...
Another good place to get comics is your local comic convention.
Yes.
Comic-Cons, MegaCon. Pretty much almost every convention has some kind of comic people there selling everything.
All right. Now... not only did we buy comics this week, but I always buy action figures. I buy toys. So it's time for our figure purchase of the week, Michael. And you're going to love this one because this week I picked up Hasbro's Disney's comfy princesses from the Wreck-It Ralph, Ralph Breaks the Internet movie. These are technically dolls. They're not action
when
figures.
I came in, I thought those were Spice Girls when I first came in. I'm like, is he opening Spice Girls?
I wish I was opening those Spice
I'd be
Girl
fine
dolls.
with that,
but no, it's actually Wreck-It Ralph. It's Snow White and Moana in their comfy princess attire, because I am a princess after all, and a princess knows a princess, so let's open this bad boy up. You would not believe where I found this, and for the price I found it for.
I want to say Walmart or Target.
It was at Walmart for $7. This is normally a $25 toy, and yeah, I found it for dirt cheap. Let's pop these off, because they're going to be heck to do. Really? They like got them sewn into her head. Apparently, Rob,
Poor
apparently.
dog.
There
Got
we
her
go.
neck broke.
That's what happens sometimes. But there we go. There's Snow White hanging out. And, of course, what would Snow White be without the poison apple? And then, of course, we got Moana over here.
Let's see if I can do this.
You know, Mike, there's just no telling how far I'll go for an action figure or a toy.
The apple? Nope.
There we go. Like, this has been difficult. Like, I did not expect this to be like this. There we go. Moana's out now. Might have to remove some of these plasticky pieces later on just so we can continue on here.
There. She's holding the apple.
And there we have Moana. And she comes with a little ice cream cone. So, yeah. There we go. That is my figure purchases of the week. I got me some comfy princesses, Moana, and Snow White.
Snow White's a little drunk, apparently.
Apparently. But this is what I bought with my money here this week, and to me, it's a great purchase. I love the Disney princess
who's going to
lines.
play with them, you or your daughter?
Oh, they're going straight into my collection. They're just going to sit there and collect dust for the next Eternia. So I am really excited for this. I love this movie. I love these dolls. I wish I could have picked them all up, but at least I got my favorite one in this Snow White. Because as you've seen me on Comic Book 101 before, I've worn my comfy Disney princess t-shirts. I've worn that particular t-shirt. I've actually worn both these t-shirts on this show.
One a week ago.
Yeah.
Word Talk.
So it's one of my favorite things. So yeah, but it's now time to move on to our character spotlight of the week, and it's the Green Lanterns.
Which I think we both have a huge Green Lantern fan. Yep. You got the ring. I have a Green Lantern tattoo.
So I think the only thing left is to state our official corpse oaths, right?
I'm not wearing my ring this week.
Tell you what, you can wear mine. Actually, no, you can't. That's my wedding ring.
Yeah, that'd be awkward.
Yeah.
I don't want, no.
No, it doesn't, Rob. Rob's saying, does this mean we're married now? No, it doesn't. No. But hit him with the oath, Green Lantern oath.
So in brightest day, blackest night, no evil shall escape my sight. Let those who worship evil's might beware my power, Green Lantern's light.
That's not how my corpse
Yeah, that's the proper one. That is the only corpse. That's the only one.
No.
Yes.
You see, my corpse is a little bit different.
You got the wrong one then.
No, I didn't. Because our official oath is what's mine is mine, is mine is mine, is mine is mine, and not yours. Yeah, that's right. I'm an Orange Lantern.
That one's kind of cool.
Yeah, I'm an Orange Lantern. I love them. But we're going to talk about Green Lantern here first. As you've heard, the Green Lantern Corps oath. And we start it all off with All American Comics number 16, all the way back in July 1940. And what makes this so unique and so interesting with this character is there are two different versions of Green Lantern. As the one I'm talking about, this All American Comics one, issue number 16, that's the Alan Scott Green Lantern. This one was actually had a weakness to wood. He's part of the, I believe, golden age of comic books.
That's where the whole joke came out that you could defeat him with a little pencil.
Yes, exactly. They're used to, like, you could take out two versions of Green Lantern with a yellow number 2 pencil. Yeah. But then the next one that would come out would be the Showcase number 22 in September, October 1959, which is the Green Lantern we all know and love today, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
That's the
with
one
the
I
power rings and everything. Like, they both had power rings, but one was more based off of the idea of willpower and using your imagination, where the other one, a little bit not so much. I mean, I could be wrong. I didn't really read Alan Scott comics. I wasn't big on that.
What got me hooked on Green Lantern was Justice League, the cartoon in the 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Super Friends.
I can imagine
that's
that.
what got me hooked on it.
See, what got me into Green Lantern is because to me, Green Lantern was always one of these characters that everybody had heard about, everybody kind of knew, but never really got into them really, because they were always like, mind you, you've got Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Everybody else after that, it was always kind of eh. For me, what really did it was Jeff Johns. He made some amazing Green Lantern comic books, and the one that sealed it for me was Blackest Night. Yes. Nothing can really compare to this book because this is when we got dark. It not only went dark, but we got to see other Lantern Corps. As you heard me talk about the Orange Lantern Oath, we saw the Sinestro Corps of the Yellow Light, the Star Sapphires, the Indigo Tribe, the Hope of the Blue Lanterns, the Rage of the Red Lanterns. All these lanterns had to come together through the War of Light, which came out before Blackest Night, but then after Batman dies, fighting Darkseid, he is used as the catalyst by the Black Hand to bring upon the Blackest Night, a prophecy that is even regarded in the oath of both the Green Lanterns and the Sinestro Corps.
It was probably the darkest time I've seen for the whole Lantern thing, especially everybody died pretty much in the DC universe.
If a character had been dead before and had come back to life, he came back
zombie-ish, whatever you want to call
him. And the way
him.
a Black Lantern ring works is it literally becomes the heart of who wears it. So if I were to be one, I'd be a walking, talking corpse and only wanting people to admit an emotion so that they could rip out their hearts. It was a very dark, very disturbing storyline. But in the end, it brought us to another Lantern Corps in the Brightest Day series with the White Lanterns. The black ones represented death, so the white ones had to just be a part of life. Yeah. And I cannot say enough about the Blackest Night storyline and how amazing it was to the Green Lantern mythos. Because even to this day, more people, I think, want to see a Blackest Night movie than they want to do any other Green Lantern movie.
Even if it's an animated movie, they need to do it.
Exactly. Then we move on to Emerald Twilight. Now, this was a very unique comic because, once again, stays a little bit dark, but this is the one where we see Hal Jordan infected by Parallax, and then becomes a supervillain. After Coastal City was destroyed, he used his ring to try to create the city back again. Unfortunately, the Guardians had a problem with it. He wipes out all the Guardians of the Galaxy, leaving only one, Kyle Rayner, to be the brand new Green Lantern and have to take up the fight of the Lanterns.
And that one was done by Keith Griffin and Gerald Jones.
And that one, like I said, amazing storyline. You see references of that in the Green Lantern movie that we're going to talk about a little bit later with the Ryan Reynolds version. There was an entire sequence that was cut from the film that would have shown Ryan Reynolds seeing his future and him becoming Parallax.
I should have bought that comic. I wanted that comic this week. I'm like, I should get that one, but I didn't.
And then, of course, another pivotal comic for Green Lantern isn't a solo Green Lantern comic. It's actually Green Lantern and Green Arrow teaming up. And you want to talk about some of the most socially conscious comic books to ever come out. There is a panel in one of these books where a African-American individual turns to Hal Jordan, Green Lantern, and tells him, look, I've seen you done a lot for the purple-skinned people. I've seen you done a lot for the orange-skinned people. But what have you ever really done for the black-skinned people? Yeah. And this made Green Lantern Hal Jordan really question, and
they confronted everything, not only racism, but poverty, drugs, and everything else social.
Because of this comic, it was inevitably what led to John Stewart becoming a Green Lantern.
Yeah, which is, at first I didn't like John Stewart, but more and more I started watching the cartoons and reading more. He actually became probably my favorite Lantern now.
For me, my favorite Green Lantern of all time is Kilowog. You poser, because Kilowog just represents everything of the Corps. You have to go through Kilowog if you want to be a decent member of the Corps.
But you're mentioning Green Lantern and Green Arrow, so of course tonight's episode of Arrow is the final episode tonight.
And we might see Diggle as Green Lantern.
They said tonight everything that you've been hoping for will finally happen. So we know in season 7 they said Diggle's father is last name is
tomorrow
Stewart.
Morning there's just going to be nothing but like little clips and news articles about that show.
Yeah, because I know when I leave here, I'm grabbing food, going home, and watching that show. Because I can't wait to see it.
Me, myself, I got really excited for it. But one of the other big issues that I want to talk about Green Lantern, Green Arrow is the one where we find out Speedy's addicted to heroin. With a name like Speedy, who didn't see that one coming? But yeah, this was one of the only one of the rare comic books to actually tackle drug abuse and how it would affect the heroes that were close to them, you know? It was an amazing read, and you can find all that in the Green Lantern, Green Arrow collection nowadays, all collected in a trade paperback. If you're trying to collect single issues of those, a little bit more difficult because they came out in like the 60s, 70s.
Yeah, quite a while for that, because that's the old style Green Arrow back then with the blonde hair.
Yep.
The little Arrow Flynn hat.
I wasn't a big fan of the Arrow.
No.
Any version.
Actually, I like the Arrow now.
Not me. I tried getting into the show. I'm going to have to try to get into it again now that I know everything that's going on with the crisis. And
I enjoyed it because it did a lot of flashbacks, what led up, how he became Arrow and everything on the island. So I enjoyed it. Sad that it's over. Spoiler, Oliver's dead.
From what I've heard, it might continue in other forms and stuff like that,
Yeah,
but who's to know? For all we know, we're sitting here talking about it now, and in 2 months from now, there's an Arrow comic book based off of this series, if there isn't already one by DC Comics.
I think there is.
So there you go. Next book that we're going to have to talk about
Sinestro Corps
is the Sinestro Corps. This is the one where Sinestro...
Another Jeff Johns book.
Another Jeff Johns book. This is one of my favorite artists or writers when it comes to Green Lantern for many a reason. And he wound up making Sinestro leave the Green Lantern Corps, start his own corps, and then use the Anti-Monitor and sent out rings to the people, basically Green Lantern style, where they found the person with the most will, they found the people with the ability to instill the greatest fear. And we saw in the Blackest Night storyline, Scarecrow got a yellow lantern ring.
That's just crazy. Ugh.
That was one of the better things, and a lot of people have worn yellow rings. Batman has worn a yellow ring in his time. So Sinestro Corps, that story was amazing because we got to see the Green Lantern Corps fight an equal adversary of equal power. And being led by somebody like Sinestro, one of the greatest Green Lanterns to ever exist, was just an amazing bit.
I love Sinestro. He's still one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Even for yellow, he's awesome.
If we're going heels, Atrocitus or Larfleeze. But that's just me. I like my red and my orange lanterns a lot. Then nextly, after all of this was said and done, we wound up getting the New 52 and Rebirth. And you can see right there, he already has the copy of Rebirth. That is the exact cover you have of the graphic novel. And this was an amazing story. Hal Jordan, after being parallaxed for such a long time, finally comes back, and this is kind of what kicks us off into Blackest Night.
Yeah.
Was this Rebirth storyline. I'm already getting things wrong because it didn't start in the New 52. There was another New 52 whole starting and everything like that. But this was an amazing story. It also was written by Jeff Johns, who, like I said, he had the greatest run with Green Lantern. He took a character of irrelevance and kind of importance and made him into the forefront of one of the best heroes to me DC Comics ever has to offer.
So this one, again, Jeff Johns and the other person's Ethan Van Cipher. Hopefully I pronounced the name right. There's many plot twists in this comic.
Oh, yeah. Twists,
I
turns.
Think when I got it, $10.
Yeah.
So
that goes to show you how cheap some of these trade paperbacks can be. And you can even go into your local Books A Million, your Amazons, your comic book stores. Heck, sometimes even Walmart has comic books. I was just in there earlier, and they had Watchmen, full graphic novel trade paperback available there. They also had a Gravity Falls comic book that I already had, Lost Legends, but that's another story for another week. So now, I believe any other major Green Lantern comics that you wanted to talk about personally?
That pretty much was everything on my list as well.
So there are a ton of them out there. There's also Emerald Dawn that we really didn't get to talk too much about, which was another amazing
There's a lot like New Frontier.
Exactly. So many great Green Lantern comics out there. You can pick up single issues as you see here. We've got even copies of Infinite Crisis on the table that featured multitudes of Green Lanterns. But now we're going to kind of move and shift gears to the Green Lanterns of film and TV. So now, a lot of Green Lanterns really haven't been in film and TV.
We've had one live-action film movie, which didn't do too well in theaters. We know that.
It did not, but for me, Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie was a great movie for this reason alone. I got to see Green Lantern do something.
Yeah.
He used the power ring. He went to Oa. We saw Parallax. We saw the Guardians. For what it was, heck, I'll take it. Like, to me, I don't really dig Michael Keaton's Batman, but heck, at least we got all these Batman films. This is the only time we got to see all these Green Lanterns. We got to see Kilowog, played by Michael Clark Duncan. There was Tomari. Heck, I think Chip even makes an appearance. Like, so many great Green Lanterns. Abin Sur's there. It's basically a telling of the first flight of Green Lantern.
Yeah. And hopefully now, since we've had that movie, they'll start doing more. There is an HBO show of Green Lantern coming out.
I would not doubt that. I've heard rumors of it.
It's going to be a spin-off, I guess. It's officially part of the whole Arrowverse, but it's going straight to HBO, so they're talking there still could be crossovers. I'm hoping, they haven't announced who it is, but I'm hoping a guy that plays Diggle
is going to pop up.
Because I think he would make a great
I've heard about the Green Lantern Corps solo movie that's supposed to be coming out, but in the Justice League movie that just came out between Joss Whedon and, his name escapes me right now,
I can't think of
Snyder.
it. Yeah.
Zack Snyder. Though in that movie, there was a tease. Two Green Lanterns, three Green Lanterns fought Darkseid only to be killed, and that was supposed to be our big tease into there are going to be Green Lanterns in this film saga and in this universe, but we never fully got to see it come to fruition. I was happy I got to see any Lanterns do anything.
When I saw that little clip, I was screaming like a little girl. I'm so happy.
As much as we said Ryan Reynolds' movie was the first flight of the Green Lanterns, nothing beats the animated version of First Flight, which legit shows a good comic version of the first time Hal Jordan gets the ring, goes to Oa and train, faces Sinestro in the end of this one, where Sinestro actually turns full Yellow Lantern and has a power ring of fear.
Yeah, I don't remember that one too well. It's been a while since I've watched all this.
Oh, I've watched these not too long ago. I love rewatching my Green Lantern stuff, because then we went to the Emerald Knights movie, which was another Green Lantern solo outing. We don't get them too often, but when we do, I clamor towards them. Emerald Knights was a great story because it told about more than one lantern. We got to see the giant Green Lantern planet, not Oa, but Moog. The one that is literally a whole planet. He has a ring inside of his body and everything like that. Amazing stories. We got to see the story of the very first Lantern, the very first Green Lantern, and found out that Hal Jordan's ring is a descendant. It is legit the first Lantern's ring, which means that is the most powerful tool in all of DC Universe, so long as it's wielded by the right guy.
And Hal's always been the right guy.
Yeah, to me he has been, next to Kilowog.
See, I've never been a fan of Kilowog.
How can you not like Kilowog?
I've just never
been a
fan.
Oh,
I like the squirrel.
Who doesn't like Chip?
Squirrel's awesome.
But then there was also on Cartoon Network a Green Lantern animated series that came out in the 2010s era. This was an amazing storyline. This came out shortly after the Blackest Night storyline. It had Red Lanterns teaming up with Green Lanterns. We saw Atrocitus in this. We saw so many great things. Unfortunately, it only lasted a season because of the way Cartoon Network ran and because it was just a solo Green Lantern outing.
2012 to 2013.
It did not run that long, where everybody's talking about, please bring this back, please bring that back. We're getting new Star Wars Clone Wars. We're getting new Star Wars Rebels probably down the line. Please, somebody give me Green Lantern animated back just for one season, just to end it or something, because we can bring back Teen Titans. Why can't we bring back Green Lantern?
The good Teen Titans haven't come back, though.
Yes, they have, and they've been back all the time.
But we need a new Teen Titans show.
No, we've got Teen Titans Go. How can you hate on Teen Titans Go?
No.
You're not hard, sir.
That's like the freaking little new Thundercat show.
How can you hate that, too?
Because that's not my Thundercats.
Oh, okay, just because it's not yours.
But that's the thing. It's not meant for people like me that grew up with the old Thundercats.
So that's one of those things. How are you going to, especially even with Teen Titans Go, that wasn't made for you either. One of these shows, to me, a lot of times, especially when you're revamping them and making them for a new audience, you're trying to get new audiences, new people in. Kids who watch cartoons today don't necessarily like the cartoons of the past, so you got to change it up a little bit. Look, Teen Titans, the original one, was so dark and dreary that at times it was just like watching a Batman cartoon that I didn't really want to see sometimes. Yes, it was a good show, but Teen Titans Go makes it a little bit more laugh-hearted.
The movie was good.
Yeah, I did. I love Teen Titans Go to the movies.
Yes.
Teen Titans versus Teen Titans Go was pretty dang good myself. That I thought myself.
Yeah.
You know, like it's one of those things. Sometimes these shows aren't made for you. You gotta.
they're
made for a new audience. Even then, here we are talking about Green Lantern. How many times has Green Lantern been redone? We've already seen in the first issue of Green Lantern. There are 2 different first issues because you've got the Alan Scott version and then the Hal Jordan version. If they never did that, we would have been stuck with a Green Lantern who's afraid of wood.
Pencil.
Fricking the Dudley boys could have taken him out easily. 3D, yo.
Right through a table.
Taken out with chopsticks is what Rob's saying. It's like he could never go out to eat in any Asian restaurant in his entire life.
There's been so many different versions of Lantern too.
Yes, there have. We have Guy Gardner, we've had Kyle Rayner, we've had Hal Jordan, we have Baz, who's a Muslim descent, and then we have a new one coming out in Justice League Legacy. Green Lantern Legacy, which is an Asian American Green Lantern. Like, everybody can be represented. There have been females.
I love that new suit he has.
Yeah, to me, the Green Lantern Corps is one of those things in comic books, especially over the years, that as much as we talked last week, anybody can be Spider-Man. If you have that will to overcome fear and strong willpower, anybody could be a Green Lantern.
So we made a post on our Facebook page, Comic Book 101. We asked who is your favorite Green Lantern. Bruce P. Wayne goes Kyle Rayner, because that's who he grew up with. Andrew said Alan Scott. Tara said Coleman, because I kind of like that one. Oh, it's a Coleman Lantern.
Yeah. Without visuals, it doesn't work.
Another person, Hal Jordan. Neil said Kyle.
Somebody had commented on my page.
Someone said John Stewart.
A person by the name of Dizzy Hellfire, she wound up commenting that one of her favorites is not actually any Green Lanterns at all. She likes the Blue Lanterns because they symbolize hope. And that's the thing I love about the Green Lantern series is that there is a Lantern Corps for everybody.
Yeah. And the last one I want to mention, Eddie, he comments on a lot of our posts. Eddie wrote and Hal Jordan
Thank you for tuning in,
Green
Eddie.
Lantern. That's who he grew up with, but he still loves Alan Scott because he relates more to Alan Scott.
Which is very understandable. Everybody has their own version. Everybody has their own character that they like and gravitate toward. Me, myself, like I said, I'm a big Hal Jordan Green Lantern fan, as you are. Yeah. But if I'm picking one Lantern, I'm picking Kilowog for the Green Lanterns, you know. But there are so many great ones. And then we got to talk a little bit about the Justice League animated version. So, of course, we have Jon Stewart from the cartoon series that most people associated with Green Lantern, to the point of when Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern movie came out, everybody was wondering why it's a white dude named Hal Jordan, not a black dude named Jon Stewart. So that just goes to show you the popularity of this version of the Green Lantern that has come out. And then, of course, with the DC animated universe that exists with movies like War, Doom, Crisis on Infinite Earths, we get other versions of Hal Jordan and different art styles and different stories that he's just bombing in and joining the Justice League on some of these stories. Sometimes this is why I watch Justice League, where I don't like Superman, I kind of like Wonder Woman, but I love me some Green Lantern, I love me some Batman, and I actually get to see them do stuff, especially Green Lantern. Sometimes the only time you get to see him do stuff is in Justice League.
And I grew up, again, Super Friends. That's the Green Lantern I grew up with, Hal Jordan.
Yeah. Everybody has their own different one, and this is why we want to urge you guys, head out to your local comic book store. Please, there are so many great books that are out there that you might not know what you can find out there. Once again, I didn't know I was going to find this Mortal Kombat Goro comic book when I went out, but I'm so happy I did. It was a great story to read that I didn't even know existed 2 weeks ago. When we started the show, I had no idea.
Mortal Kombat ones.
Heck, when we started the show, we didn't know Descendants comic books existed.
Even so, here's a topic from Nerd Talk. I put in, let's talk about Ozzy, because we heard he got Parkinson's, and everybody's like, no, he's not nerdy. I proved everybody wrong. I'm like, no. Besides him voicing and doing music and games, he has his own comic.
Yeah, he's had his own action figures. He's had a lot of different things, and I even had to recede on that point of, hey, yeah, if you can check off that many nerd check boxes, then yeah, you deserve to be considered in the nerd culture and part of the nerd society.
Even wrestling has comics.
Oh yeah, there are a ton.
Undertaker, Kane, Mankind,
Ultimate Warrior, and that thing tanked harder than anything on this planet.
I didn't read that one.
That was a whole nother story. I'll make sure we talk about that one day. But one of the things, like I said, I started talking last week about these Descendants comic books, right? So I literally went out, picked up, found my version of this book, and then found on the back that there were other ones. There's Rotten to the Core. There's one all about Evie's Wicked Runway. And then, as you will see in most of these books, when you get to the back page, they will advertise all of the different comic books that they have. And I don't know if you can zoom in on this, Rob, but I want to kind of show everybody some of the different ones that they have out there for you to pick up. And this is just Tokyo Pop, which is a more manga type series, as you can see from the animation style from it. They have Jack Sparrow, Lilo and Stitch, Rapunzel, Beauty and the Beast, so many different comics made by Tokyo Pop of just Disney that you can go out there and collect.
Sure,
and
I had no clue they even did all those.
Yeah, and neither did I. And this has now put me on the hunt for these Descendant comic books that I now have to hunt down, read, and add to my collection, because if I don't, then I'm going to be a very sad person.
I know a certain comic shop we can go to.
I
Go
do
see if
too.
he has them.
We'll definitely have to hit up Yancey Street Comics again. We may even hit them back up on February the 12th when we go to this autograph
Hopefully we
signing of
can
the Harley
get
Quinn and the
Steve-
Birds and Prey.
We can get Steve and come in.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe.
guest on the show sometime.
There's definitely a lot of ideas and thoughts we have had put into the show, and once again, we want to make this as much about you as we physically can. So I think it's time we have a giveaway.
All right, what are we going to give away?
All right, once again, we're going to give away one of these comic books. It's going to be a mystery to you, so if you win, you will get one of these mystery comic books. And you want to know how you win?
How? Tell me, Josh, how are you going to
The only way to win is by sharing this episode of Comic Book 101, issue number 3.
Number 3.
You share it and use the hashtag Comic Book 101 TV giveaway. We'll pick one winner, and that person will go on to win a free comic book from us, as well as maybe some other goodies that we can throw in this little care bag.
Any comic on the table. It could be any comic.
It could be anyone. It could be
even be one of these then. The ones I just picked up.
It could even be a comic book not on the table right now. So this is how you win. Share, like, subscribe.
Please, not my Wonder Woman.
Please share this episode and use the hashtag Comic Book 101 TV giveaway. And I don't know if that's going to be, how's about this? CB 101 giveaway. That'll be a little bit easier. I don't know if Rob can make that a little hashtag thing and put a little lower third there for us, or here, wherever it may go. Hashtag CB101. Actually,
And say, can you search hashtags on Facebook?
yes, you can.
Okay, good.
CB
Oh, yeah, I found it.
101 giveaway.
He's running out.
My horrible handwriting. Use the hashtag with sharing this episode, and you will be able to be eligible to win a free prize from us at Comic Book 101 TV, like our cosplayer of the week.
Yes, and we got to get her information so we can send her a comic. I think she should get the Descendants.
No, that's my personal collection one. Maybe some other one. But who knows what you may get, because that's what we like to do, is give back to our audience and do it the best way we can. So, Michael, we've pretty much covered...
Also, if there's anybody y'all want us to talk about, let us know.
Yes, exactly. Like
We can't always pick the character spotlight. We want y'all to pick it. If you want to learn more about Deathstroke or Superman or even Archie...
Yeah, we're down to cover almost every comic book that we physically can, and we're going to do it here each and every week. We're kind of at the point of we normally are running through all of this stuff so very quickly that we never really have time to talk to the audience, just like talking to them. So I really want you guys to go out there and go visit your local comic book shops. Who knows what you may be finding? You can pick up any of the comics of this week that we picked up. The Ghostbusters Year One.
If you can't go
Wonder
to a
Woman
shop,
750.
Go on your phone, computer.
Yeah,
you can buy them online.
You can read Marvel Unlimited, their app, the DC app.
And what's good, when I bought the Carnage one the other week, it came with a little thing said, get your free download of this comic too. So I can have that comic anywhere I want. If I want to read it while I'm at work, open my phone and read it right then and there.
And there you go. That's how a lot of people can check out comic books local to them, even if they're not able to. Heck, there's a certain website I use. Read comics online is what I put in my search engine, and it pops up, and it's a little scrupulous site, but that's how I read all my comic books each and every week because it makes it a little bit easier on me and on my budget at times. But I still like to visit my local shop. I like to buy my toys. I like to buy some of the random books that I can find because it's always great to support your local comic shop.
It's fun going shop. You'll meet other people that are into it, and you never know. Just talk to the people that work there. Hey, what's something good that
Heck, you may even find an autographed version of a book that you never even knew you had.
Which I went back again after you went to your wrestling event. We were in there, and I found a whole box of autographed comics that you could choose from. They weren't names like Stanley or Jeff Jones.
Heck, I used to go to...
But they have a bunch of comics
I
there.
went to a comic shop years and years and years ago. I'm a huge fan of the Blair Witch Project, and they had an autographed Blair Witch comic book.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I might have to go dig that one up so we can talk about it here.
So what do you think about getting your comics graded and sealed?
That is an issue for another day. Tell you what, let's put that on the shelf for next week. We'll talk about that a little bit more. However, this week is about coming to an end here. Please be sure to like, share, and subscribe. CB101. We had a lot on there. We got our new Instagram coming out. We've got the Facebook page. We've got the YouTube page. Of course, you can check us out on WeBeam TV. If you want to see us or meet us or any of that happen to be nonsense, you can check me at New Heights Wrestling on February the 8th for Homecoming. I'll be there doing my grand old thing. I've got some surprises and other things in store for that one. That's going to be up in the Panhandle. Then on February 21st, Grand Lucha Libre with IPW Hardcore Wrestling. This is an absolute free show at the Hardy County Fairgrounds. All you got to do is show up, ask to see some IPW wrestling, and I will be your host with the most, the Princess of Weird, as I always am. Michael, where can they find you at?
Right now, you can find me on Cosplay in Tampa Bay. Search it on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm all over that. Book photo shoots, just chat. Coming conventions. I know I got MegaCon coming up. Pensacon, I'm looking at possibly showing up in a Panhandle beginning of March.
Yeah,
I just got told about that, and I'm trying to see about going up there.
Maybe I can tag along with you. Heck, maybe I can do a photo shoot in my Dippy Fresh outfit. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us here on Comic Book 101. Thank you for joining us. We have had a wonderful time. Yes. Please, once again, like, share, subscribe, visit your local comic book shop, do something nice for somebody. Till next week, I'm the Princess of Weird, Josh Johnson. He's Michael Stanley. Thank you for joining us here, and join us next week. Thank you.